What's the good word? It's your boy DKB here. So we once again have another standout over the course of this OTAs. And this time, this one is a lot more surprising to me, even though we just talked about an undrafted free agent. Specifically because the New York Jets haven't really had a young developmental tight end per se, or a young tight end that's actually worked out or showed continued progress from one season to the next. Granted, this is early. We're talking OTAs, shorts, and jerseys. But still, the news has me really excited. So Jeremy Ruckert has been balling out during OTAs. One-handed catches, consistent route running, able to pull away from people, really showing a lot of the athletic explosion and dynamic ability that he had at Ohio State and would have put on at the combine if healthy. So, again, you take a look at the list of names that we've tried to operate with before. Not only is there a long list of failures, but there's also the occasional young guy that just hasn't necessarily panned out. So Ryan Griffin, Trayvon Wesco, Chris Herndon, Eric Tomlinson, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Kellen Davis, Jeff Cumberland, Dustin Keller, Matthew Mulligan, Chris Baker. Now, we've seen how Chris Herndon flamed out. I was actually a big fan of the Austin Seferian-Jenkins move, but realistically, Jeff Cumberland was the last younger-ish tight end that we had that had any small measure, decent level of success. So I don't have huge hopes for Jeremy Ruckert in terms of resetting record books, right? I don't think we're talking about him coming out here and, getting 80 catches, almost 1,000 yards, anything like that, right? Realistically, if he keeps up this performance, he may be a tight end like 2B technically, right? You're paying you're paying Tyler Conklin, you're paying CJ Uzomah quite a fair share of money for them to see the field. If Jeremy Ruckert can eat into those snaps, which should be the goal this season, and primarily start taking over some responsibilities from one of these two guys, realistically, it would probably be CJ. He fits that skill set. He's just a little bit more dynamic. Then I think you walk away happy knowing that by the end of his contract, he may either be the undisputed tight end one in that room, or he's going to be a great pairing option as a tight end too, as you move forward with this offense after Aaron Rodgers leaves. You reset the quarterback position, all of these different things, and that can't be under or overstated enough realistically. So, we've had reports from Zach Rosenblatt, Connor Hughes, even Rich Cimini has spoken about how well Jeremy Ruckert has done during OTAs, and he's notorious for kind of crapping on the New York Jets team. And realistically, even when he's offering positive comments, it's usually a backhanded diss somewhere in there. But even he has enjoyed what Jeremy Ruckert has displayed during OTA so far. So again, I think taking this bit of news, you always want to take it with a grain of salt. Again, it's OTAs, but I think the long-term outlook for a guy like Jeremy Ruckert, unless he really breaks the mold for his position, is going to be a guy that will never be a star in an offense, but he's always going to be an effective option, which is why you see a lot of pro comps with him for guys like Dalton Schultz. I've seen Cameron Bray out there. I think we would definitely welcome either one of those two guys in our tight end room as long-term weapons with the New York Jets. Also, if we just want to take it a step back, this is a guy that we all fell in love with as a longtime New York Jets lifelong fan. So to see that he's having some success ideally won't end up becoming a pick that flames out and ends up being nothing. You talk about him being the third round pick. That's still a premium asset for anybody in the league. So definitely there's a plan here. We allowed him to essentially redshirt his rookie season. His sophomore year is where you want to see him start challenging for some higher roles. And again, I think he's effectively the best CJ Uzomah replacement whenever we finally decide to move on from him, who could potentially be a trade candidate down the line, even though it's unlikely with the contract restructure, but that's a story for another day. So to finish things off here, just to remind you guys why we should be so high on Jeremy Ruckert and some of the things from a scouting report, situation that he was bringing to this team and looking to develop. So keep in mind, he's a former top tight end in the country when it came to recruiting just to get him into Ohio State. Minimal usage, I guess, is kind of his career story, but he's kind of been it's fair enough to say he's a big play threat for what the tight end position usually is, as he's averaged over 10 yards per catch over his career, at least in the college ranks. Explosive athlete, I don't think those traits always translate to the field, but you generally do see at least one spectacular play per game, whether that's in the blocking element, where you're seeing him just completely road rage a guy, or if it's in the passing element, where you're seeing him do some one-handed moves. You kind of see him slyly pull away from some guys, maybe on a routine slant, different things of that nature. Good strength and willingness to block. Again, this was kind of a do-it-all type player where he can work in line. You can put him out in the slot. You can split him wide. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, and essentially he can play everything. Hybrid fullback role. So that's a guy that you get really excited about because you don't have any limitations with putting him on the field, which means he's going to be a 3-down player at all times for you. Underrated route runner, utilizes his excellent catch radius. I love some of the one-handed moves that I've seen, but you also see him snag some balls an inch from the grass, and just making the routine catches. Again, not a high output, but he has a pretty high catch rate when he's been targeted. So that's something that you love to see there as well. And then he's essentially kind of a red zone artist. I think he had 12 touchdowns in his college career. 5 of those came in the red zone. And I want to say, I don't know if it was 100%, but I want to say it was at least the high 80s in terms of his conversion rate down in the red zone when he's been a target and maybe the main option to be called upon to make a play there. So Jeremy Ruckert, I'm hoping he definitely continues on a high here. If we see this continue into training camp, and especially in the preseason games, I would start to argue maybe it'd be worthwhile to see him actually replace CJ. Yes, you don't want to be paying a guy millions of dollars to go out there and be your third string tight end, but again, we will be using a lot more 2 and 3 tight end sets anyways. And as him being the veteran player, I'm sure a little bit more reps than not will help him out and go a long way. But high hopes for Jeremy Ruckert. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I'll catch you again. Peace.